Hello everyone, I'm Ambasing and I'm thrilled to be here with Marius for the episode 25th of the Power Pages Quick Tip series. We have hit a fantastic milestone, our Silver Jubilee episode in just 1 year. In this episode, we will delve into how to use environment variable for the site setting in the Power Pages. So let's get started. To understand how the environment variables can be used with site settings, familiarize yourself with the environment variables. Environment variables are the variables that hold the configuration value to the specific to an environment that is or that the application or the features can be referenced. Environment variables for the site setting offer several benefits, including streamlining the ALM by avoiding the hard-coded values in the site settings, simplify multi-environment deployments with the environment-specific configuration, also enable the dynamic updates to the site behavior without redeploying the solutions. As I mentioned in the previous slide, environment variable for the site settings lets maker and the admin manage configuration values flexible across the environments. They enable smoother application lifecycle management (ALM) and deployment processes. Use the environment variable to define the site setting values across various environments with the enhanced data model. With the standard data models realized on the deployment profiles, the enhanced data model allow you for the dynamic configuration of the environment specific settings using the environment variables. Let's see how the environment variable work with the site settings. So firstly, the makers define the environment variable in the Power Pages management app or even in the solution designer. Then site setting reference these environment variables instead of the static values. When the site is accessed, the system resolves the referenced environment variables values and applies it. When working with the environment variable for the site settings, it is important to follow some of the best practices to ensure the efficient and effective managements. Let's talk about some of the key recommendation. Uses. So use the features only for the ALM related settings or the secrets. Avoid using it for the all site settings because it can lead the performance degradations. Named variable consistently. Use consistent naming for the environment variable to make them easier to identify. Documents vary all of the variables. Maintain a reference document listing all the environment variable, their purpose, and their default values. Test thoroughly. Validate changes in the non-production environment before you're applying them to the productions. Use descriptions. So use the description field to explain the variable's purpose. Microsoft documentations. Go through with the MS documentation for more informations, updates, or even the limitations. Like if a site setting data type is marked as a secret, the field is disabled in the Design Studio mode, preventing makers from editing these values. Additionally, reading or writing key value secrets within the Design Studio setting is not supported. Another example could be a mismatch in the environment variables, values, and expected type. So for example, if the site settings like search/enable expect a Boolean values like a true and false, but the environment variable contains some of the invalid values such as ABC, XYZ or something, or it is missing, it causes an issue there. Now, I would like to show that how to use the environment variables for the site setting in the Power Pages, some of the great tips and insight secrets. Over to the live demo. If you can see, you have to reach to the Power Pages Management Studio and your model-driven app. And in the site setting, you just open any of the site settings which you want to change it or where you want to add the environment variable. Just an example, if I would like to add values to local login enabled, so simply in the local login enabled site settings, you will see the source as a table. You just need to change the source from table to the environment variable. Once it is in the environment variable, here you can define the new environment variable, or you can choose one of the existing one. So example, I started choosing or creating the new environment variable for me. And here you just need to put the schema names, display names, descriptions, what kind of the data type, it's a string, numbers, boolean, JSON, data source, or the secret, default values. And after filling this, you just need to save and close. So an example for this one, I just created it a couple of minutes back. Authentication underscore login tracking enable. The default value is the false in the site setting, but I made it true because I want this to be enabled to my production environments. And that's all. So once it has been enabled, you can reference back very easily to your site settings. So you just change it example, just an example. Here I opted for the environment variable, and here in the list, you can always get a values which is being required. Like an example, I just created this one. I can choose this one with the description inside that one. So this is how you create it. The another important aspect here, how you shift from one environment to the another environment. So the answer is pretty simple. You just create a solution, and in the solution, you can add any of the existing values as an environment variable. So I just opted for the environment variable. And in the environment variable, you will get an option to choose any of the environment variable which you have prepared. So just an example again. Yeah, you can choose any of the environment variable which you have prepared. I prepared this environment variable authentication underscore login tracking enabled. Click next. You can include the definition or include the current values, and then you can click on the add. So this is how you can add it to your solutions, and it can be easily deployed to the another or any of the environments. Try out the environment variable for the site setting in the Power Pages and simplify your website deployments. The environment variable for the site setting features simplify ALM, enhance configurability, and reduce the risk of the manual errors. Makers and administrators who adopt this feature ensure their sites stay flexible and aligned with the organizational deployment strategies. Also, stay tuned to this channel by subscribing and pressing the bell icon. Share the video with your friends and the colleagues who are having the same skill sets like you or want to take a deep dive into the Power Pages. We will be coming up with more interesting tips, knowledge sharing, and the lesson learning around the Power Pages. Also, please keep your eyes into the description of the video so that you are always up to date with the latest information. Till that, have a nice time and happy learning. Bye.